Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today we are going to discuss some important topics of polity that were in news and are important for the prelims 2026. So starting with the first one, that is governor's veto power. So the Supreme Court last year has declared a timeline for the governor and president to act upon the bills, and later the Supreme Court has reversed its judgment and removed that timeline by means of that presidential reference case. So this is also important. Presidential reference case. So starting with the governor's veto power that is mentioned in under Article 200. So in this, the governor can either give assent to a bill, withhold his assent, or reserve the bill for reconsideration, and he can also refer the bill to the president. So in all this, the governor performs under his own discretion. And for the reconsideration is not applied for the money bill. Action of president on the bills reserved by governor is given under Article 201. Basically, there is no criteria given that which bill has to be reserved by the governor for the president assent, but there is one situation that if an act or a bill endangers the position of High Court, then it has to be reserved by the governor for the presidential reference position of High Court. And similar for at the union level, the veto powers of the president are given in the Article 111. Refer to that also. Now coming on to the second topic, that is presidential reference case. So president, it is basically coming from the Article 143 that mentions about the advisory jurisdiction of Supreme Court. Under this, the president can refer a question to the Supreme Court of law or a public importance for its decision, public importance, or it can be a question about a pre-constitutional treaty, pre-constitutional treaties. So in the first case, the Supreme Court can give or cannot give its advice, but in the second case, it is mandatory for the Supreme Court to give its advice, and in both the cases, the president is not bound to follow the advice of the Supreme Court. So this is what you have to know about this, and in this case, this is the 16th presidential reference case. And the 15th one was about 2G spectrum verdict. 2G spectrum verdict in 2012. And 14th one is Punjab Termination Act. Punjab Termination of Agreements Act. Agreements Act 2004. And remember the first one also. This is in 1951, which is about Delhi Laws Act. So this is all about these two topics. Now moving on to the next one, which is also related to the governor. That is governor's address to the state legislature. So which article mentions about this? This is about 175 and 176. 176 mentions about the special address, which is the address of state legislature at commencement of every first session of year session of every year, and another one is first session of the first session after general elections. And 175 mentions about the general address in case of any bill pending in the state legislature or otherwise. So this is also important. Now governor overall is important topic, so read it very carefully. Now moving on to the next topic, that is about the special intensive revision. Intensive revision. It is SIR. You all know that Article 324 mentions about the duty of Election Commission of India. That is, the Election Commission of India is responsible for superintendence, direction and control of elections. But explicitly, the Section 21 subclause 3 of Representation of People's Act 1950 finds mention about the special intensive revision. And also remember about the forms, that is Form 6. Form 6 is for the inclusion of new voters in the voter list. Form 7 is for deletion of name. Form 8 is for updating, that is changing the address or constituency you are living in, updating of electoral list. Also remember that SIR has been done 13 times between 1952 to 2004. The last one was done in 2004, before this one that is currently happening. And also read some static portion about the Election Commission of India. So now moving on to the next question, that is topic number 5, which is about the resignation of Vice President. Resignation of Vice President Jagdeep Dhankhar ji. This is mentioned in Article 67 that Vice President resigns to President. So read all the other static information about this. And the new Vice President who is elected, this 15th Vice President, is Mr. C.P. Radhakrishnan. Radhakrishnan. So the next topic is about the amendment of preamble. This 42nd amendment, the only amendment that has happened for changing the preamble, which added the word socialist, secular and integrity. So read the preamble very carefully and remember the order of the main words that are mentioned in the preamble, and also go through these Supreme Court cases about the preamble, that preamble is part of constitution or not. That is, first one is Beruvar Union case 1960, which held that it is not a part of constitution. Second one is Keshwanand Bharti case in 1973, which held that it is a part of constitution and can be amended. Third one is LIC of India case 1995, which held that preamble is a integral part of constitution. So there is also a lot of PYQs on preamble, that it is a source of authority, where does it derives its authority from, the date of adoption, and its nature, that if it is justiciable or not, if it is a source of authority or not. So remember and go through all this information. So the next topic is about the Shanti Act, which is sustainable harnessing and advancement of nuclear energy for transforming India. The main purpose of this act is enabling the private sector participation in building and operating the nuclear power plants. So it replaced two acts, that is Energy Act 1952, and another one is Civil Liabilities for Nuclear Damage, Clear Damage Act 2010. Also remember that India's current nuclear energy capacity is at 8.8 gigawatt. And what is the aim? It is of 100 gigawatts of nuclear energy by 2047. Moving on to the next one, which is VBG Ramji Bill. VBG Ramji, that is Viksit Bharat Guarantee for Rozgar and Ajivika Mission Gramin. So it is meant for replacing the MG Narega Act 2005. Now let us look at the major changes it has done. That it has increased the number of days for which guaranteed employment is given to 125, and also provision for additional number of days in case of drought or disaster notified areas, that is about 50 days. Now another important change is that previously MG Narega is 100% funded by central government. Now it is 90s to 10 in the northeastern or Himalayan states, and 60s to 40 for all other states and UTs. That is 60% has to be given by center and 40 by state, and here 90 by center and 10 by states. So this is all about today's video. If you like the content, then hit the like button and subscribe the channel and share it with your friends also. We will meet in the next video. Thank you.